and welcome to the Ingerati studio, live at the European Utility Week in Barcelona. I'm Sofia, and today I'm joined by António Messias. He's the head of Inovgrid at EDP Distribuição. Hi António, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Brilliant, so let's start this interview.
Okay, please.
Can you tell us the main drivers on building a smart city?
Yeah, so it's very clear to have a vision. First of all, it's necessary to have a vision, to have as well the goals defined, and to have some kind of metrics in order to fulfill all the goals that we are getting. And obviously it's necessary to have an ecosystem composed by partners that are complementary, focusing the same objectives that you have to build smart cities. And in the end, engaging the citizens.
The citizens.
Because it's the most important person or partner in the project.
Of course. So I have a question. What are the citizen needs and the city needs? Can you...
First of all, it's necessary that, you need to offer to the citizens any kind of value creation to them. Could be, for example, to be more efficient, to be more friend of the environment, and to provide to them some solutions. So you need to be a solutions provider, basically, and to leave the citizen choose the best option for them. Basically, this is what allows to create value during all this process of engaging, and in the end, the citizens will choose the best solution for them. That is the most important thing.
Cool. So we have long argued that cities and energy in cities are a killer combination for the energy transition. Do you agree with this?
In part, but I think that we should focus as well what is between. And what is between is a network. And now we have the electrical network that is providing almost 9,000 hours per year with lights on. That is the most important. It's very simple. It's a process very complex, and now is being more complex because in old times, you generate the energy, it is transmitted and distributed to the final user. Now the final user can be as well a generator.
Exactly.
So this changed the things in a different way. You need to develop new concepts for the network. And basically, you should look for the network as a big power plant where the combination of all small micro generators transform in a big power plant. And that is the third component of this process. Coming from what is between the citizen and the solutions is some kind of network. And this network is a very old concept because it's a collaborative network where everybody is providing any kind of services. So it's necessary to keep it working, keep the lights on, as we said.
So with the trend of e-mobility, demand-side participation, among others, what are the challenges in the new electrification framework for cities? I guess is what you
Yes, basically this kind of concept. For example, in our project we are developing a basic concept that we call the technical virtual power plant.
Okay.
That is basically, is very simple to explain, as I said before, is using the network in order to provide solutions that keep the light on. This is very simple, but it's very complex to transform an old network where, for example, in the end of the network is where the network is more simpler. But if you have in the end of the network a micro generator, you should provide them conditions to generate and distribute to put the energy that is producing in the network. And this is a very complex situation. I think that the most challenging thing for a distributor, for a utility, is decomplex this situation, because in the end, for the user, the end user, for the citizen, it should be very simple, very simple. And this solution, keep it simple and short. So the old way to say these things is the best way to keep the lights working and all the system continue to work. And that is a very complex problem, the challenges for the utility, is to manage this complexity, this disruption, because in fact we are talking about disruption because the model is completely different from what is in the old times, so basically.
And so a lot of cities, and there is talk of it in London, are looking to set up city utilities. Do you see this a positive trend, or does it seem to put energy in a center stage?
Yeah, so we think that you can have different solutions. For example, in Europe, you have more than 2,000 distributors. So some of them small, with less than 100,000 customers. The others are very big, with 30 million of customers supplied by the network. But in the end, as I explained before, this network that should keep the things working is in the end is very complex. And so you can have, for example, some benefits coming from scale, coming from your experience in other geographies. I think that it is important to keep this, as we are doing here in this conference, is basically sharing our experience and capturing as well other knowledge, other solutions, in order to integrate in this process. And so we think that the scale here matters. I don't know exactly what is the biggest extreme or the lowest. But we can see in Europe a lot of different solutions. But I think that we have a lot of holes that you can give more potential if you are using a very experienced technological provider. For example, you need to know how you can keep responsible, for example, for data management, because you need to provide for the end user a lot of conditions for security, for privacy, and you need to have a utility that in the end is in general they are regulated, and the regulator can follow the process and the way that they are managing the data, for example. Providing this kind of service, as I talked before, for example, increasing the flexibility of the network, you need to have very specialized centers where you can benefit for all this big potential that you have in this process. And obviously you need as well to facilitate the market. So you need to keep this independency between the ownership of the utility from the solutions provider. You need to keep this independence in order to be able to follow all the process along all the time and along all the service that you are providing for the citizens. So I think that obviously you can have small scale utility, but in fact the biggest utilities following some constraints about the whole in order to facilitate the market, data management, and flexibility service. This is very important.
Okay, so what do you think is the next big thing for smart cities?
I think that you have a lot of things appearing. For example, new materials that you are using in panels, solar panels. You can see batteries. Batteries is a very big challenge that we have in the future. But we have as well other platforms like blockchain that are providing solutions peer-to-peer. So in the end is a big amount of the challenges. For utilities, I'm very motivated to look for new solutions, and we say in our project, welcome to the future.
Brilliant, and I think it's a great place to take this interview to the end. Thank you very much for taking the time, António.
And thank you for the opportunity.
No, it was a pleasure. Please feel free to check our Ingerat YouTube channel if you missed this interview, or if you want to see all the interview of the European Utility Week. Goodbye.